How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be jumping into some live Legend League attacks using Fireball into Rocketloons. And as you guys can see, I'm currently resetting at around top 150 in the world. And yeah, doing pretty okay using Fireball Rocketloons this season. And as you guys can see, jumping right ahead, we took a few defenses and caught a 1-star and a low percent 2-star, which is really good. So we're going to try to capitalize on that. And yeah, as you see, this is the offense and defense from the day before. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So here we go. For the first attack, we have Synthe, who's also running Fireball into Rocket Balloons this season. And also, by the way, I'll leave the link to the army in the description. As you see, it's a little bit different this season. I'm using two furnaces. I actually took this army from Synthe. And, well, he was using this particular army that I'm running last season, but using a healer puppet on the queen. I'm not a fan of the healer puppet, honestly, so I left the giant in. But yeah, I'll leave the army link in the description. But yeah, jumping back to the attack, Synthe, I think he's resetting almost top 50 using Fireball Rocket Balloons, so he's doing pretty well as well with it. And yeah, we find him. So first things first, I look for a Fireball location. Obviously, Rage is always, a decent Fireball, or the Rage spell tower. Also, I always look for a Flame Flinger. So here I saw there was an outside, relatively close to the outside X-Bow. So I decided to commit a bunch of Rocketloons to snipe it out and just set up a Flame Flinger at 4 o'clock. And I also, as you notice, committed a Rage to the Warden. So at that point, I kind of thought, okay, I'll let the Rage wear off and I'll look for somewhere else to Fireball, because at that point, you see, the Rage is not going to get much value, right? So there's no point of fireballing it. You might as well go for something a little bit better. And what I did notice in this attack was that the Builder Hut was 3 tiles kind of diagonally away from the Revenge Tower. So I decided to go for that and just fireball out the Revenge Tower. And, well, if the Quakes are placed correctly, I could also take out the Fire Spitter. So here we are, 2 Quakes, perfect. We take out the Fire Spitter, we take out the Revenge Tower, and now we start the Hero Dive into the Town Hall. Usually, 90% of the times I just Hero Dive the Town Hall, honestly, because the Warden always takes a very, very long time to get through the long shot, and yeah, most bases I just prefer to Hero Dive right into the Town Hall. And yeah, here we let the Warden do his thing still. I'm not recalling him just yet because, I mean, he's still doing fine. He's still getting value. He's going to help out with the Flame Flinger. And, I'll recall him if he starts to follow maybe the Yetis or if he gets into trouble. We'll see. Minion Prince at 11 o'clock because there's no air damage, basically. So I just basically have free value for the Minion Prince there, which is really nice. And yeah, the Warden is kind of still doing his thing, not really needing to recall him, but now he's going to probably join the Yetis. Also, the red air bombs appeared, so I just recall him out. And yeah, you see, we still have plenty of time on the board here, and a lot of troops still alive. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So this is like a typical January season Legends base. I feel like most people are just running these styles of bases nowadays, where everything is separated and you have isolated Inferno Towers and you have the Town Hall to like one corner of the map, basically, with the Revenge Tower also isolated. And yeah, these bases are really annoying, honestly, for Fireball Rocklands, because it mainly just comes down to time. For me, it's always a little bit of a time struggle since the bases are so spread out, and you don't really have a huge amount of value clumped up in one certain place. But yeah, the usual approach for these bases that I use is I lure out the CC, because yeah, having the CC so far on the outside just makes it really nice to lure out and deal with early on, especially having the furnaces to kind of assist the Warden. And I look for, the best fireball value that I can find, basically. So here, Poison Tower will get me the Fire Spitter, and it's going to get me the other Poison Tower as well. Obviously, it's going to get me the Bomb Hive and the Scatter Shot. So if I play this correctly, I should get a good fireball. But here, I usually rage through that section. This is a common base, so I already know how to triple it, but I did not rage in this case, which was a mistake since, yeah, I raged way too late here, and it's not a great rage, to be honest. So I have to kind of wait a little bit, but I decided to just ice block because, well, time is kind of ticking, and I kind of need to start my hero dive. And I missed the quakes. So Scattershot should have gone down here, so already a couple of mistakes, as you see. We kind of swagged an Invis in a way because there was only one rage that was necessary for that Warden charge. But here, we're going to recall the Warden once the healers kind of attach back to him so that we can make sure that the healers aren't left behind. And yeah, we're going to place him at the left side, bottom left side, and we're going to Minion Prince into the Revenge Tower. This is usually a nice approach for these isolated Revenge Towers behind the Town Hall. And as you see, Flameflinger is still doing well. I placed it like as soon as the CC got lured out. And yeah, at this point, we're just kind of coasting. We're watching the Warden. He's going to step into the Monolith really soon. And here, the Queen, as soon as the Giant or the Giant Bomb pops, I pop her ability. So that way the clones don't take the damage. At least that was kind of the thinking process. And we're going to try to wall break into that Inferno Tower to try to get the Giant into it. And yeah, at this point, 30 seconds remaining. The scattershot not going down from the earthquakes was not terrible. Like, it didn't really do all that much damage. So yeah, it wasn't a terrible mistake, but here we're still running low. As you see, we're very, very low on time. Everything kind of died off. So here I'm just sending archers behind this fire spitter to try to take it out. But yeah, we hit the NATO, and that fire spitter is low HP as well, I noticed during the attack, so that's why I sent the archers there, but yeah, 99.9998%. Here we are again with a similar style of base. As you see, it's yeah, this typical January season legends base, as I called it, and as isolated infernos, isolated revenge tower, and the town hall kind of just pushed towards one side. And here we're going to have a similar sort of plan. So this is the first time I've seen this base. I have never seen this particular base before. But first things first, we're going to kind of look for the fireball location. And I wasn't sure here. I kind of was considering the builder hut by the revenge tower. But realistically, that's a really long range fireball. And it's probably not going to connect. So I still wasn't sure at this point what I was going to do. But I did notice that I could set up a nice flame flinger at the bottom by sniping out the mortars. So that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, at this point, I just went with the fireball right away, just because I didn't really see the value of the fireball anywhere else. And realistically, getting to the builder hut in the core is just very spell consuming and yeah, might not be worth the investment. At least that was what I thought at that point. And yeah, I mean, we're just gonna let the warden play or do his thing. Let him, yeah, take out the fire spitter and get the expo. We'll see. I mean, we don't have to recall him here. We're just gonna start the hero dive. The warden can do his thing, and usually for these kind of more packed compartments by the town hall, I usually just try to rage the hero dive just to make sure that we get through it as quickly as possible and send the headhunters as well. As you see, I sent all the headhunters. That was quite important. And again, Minion Prince kind of for that Inferno Tower compartment, although, I mean, Queen is probably going to path there anyways, but yeah, I mean, the Minion Prince, at least the idea here would be for the Minion Prince to go into the core and, you know, hopefully get that ability off through the bomb hive. You see, the warden is still going strong. I mean, I'm not recalling him out just because he's, you know, getting value here. But as soon as he starts following the Minion Prince, that's when I just recall him out, let him do his thing on the left side. And since the fireball was very, very cheap and we did not use any invises, I can continuously invis the Minion Prince. Luckily, we don't hit any Seeking Air Mines, which is great. So he took a lot of that base out in the core, which is going to help out tremendously on the back end. And yeah, hopefully we get the triple here. It's still gonna come down to time as usual with these attacks. It's just always, 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 always a time struggle. Unless you get a really amazing fireball value. But yeah, here kind of getting close because, well, we only have the Giant Giant. Luckily, the Giant Giant is full health and still has that rage ability, so we got a bit of power in that. And yeah, luckily we get through it. Giant Giant still got 5% HP, and yeah, very nice with 5 seconds to spare. So here we are. We find stars in this one, and he was running this base. I have never seen it before, and I think it must be a fresh base. But first thing I notice is the fireball value on the court. So if you hit the ricochet cannon, you get the CC, obviously everything around that, plus 1 poison spell tower. Now, also, obviously, the revenge tower gets okay-ish fireball value, but you're gonna only get the CC and the revenge tower, and I just thought that going for a little bit more value would make a little bit more sense. And also, I noticed that the X-bow was a little bit exposed. So again, whenever I see that, I always try to set up a flame flinger, whether I commit Rocketloons to snipe it out, or in this case, I'm going to do a totem spell setup with the flame flinger. Now, obviously, this was nerfed in the previous balance changes, so yeah, you have to commit quite a lot of Rocketloons, especially if there's a builder hut beside that X-bow. So I commit quite a lot into it for sure. And, well, I think it's worth the investment just because the Flame Flinger is going to get an insane amount of value there. But, yeah, looking at the Warden Charge, we're still okay. I'm trying not to commit any more spells, but one thing I did notice in the attack was that because I set him so far to the right, the Fireball into the Ricochet Cannon is kind of tricky from this angle. I would have much rather he stood kind of by that scatter shot right now, but yeah, he's a little bit far to the right. So at that point in the attack, I thought, okay, I'm just going to fireball the poison tower. It's going to get me decent-ish value still. Obviously, it's not going to get me the CC, but it's okay, I think. I think it's decent value. And we're going to hero dive into the Town Hall. Now, maybe I could have committed just the king into the Town Hall, but as you'll see in a second, the king always has some slightly different plans. Here, I did not wall break that section of the base, as you might notice, that Tesla popped up at 12 o'clock, so I had to kind of delay my wall breaker there. It still didn't connect because the stupid long shot has splash damage, so it killed it. But nevertheless, we take out the Town Hall, so all is looking decent. We recall the Warden to the bottom. And here I did a little bit of a blunder. For some reason, I thought that the Minion Prince was going to go to the left right after that the first building went down, and he didn't. He just continued on to the right, and the ability was just absolutely terrible. We swagged the ability. We basically swagged the rage as well, and I should have just probably angled him a little bit better, honestly, placed him a little bit better. And yeah, that just one little blunder is gonna cost me the triple. It was looking very, very good until that one, I would say, pretty big mistake. So yeah, it happens. So we're unfortunately gonna get, yeah, just low 90s, which is okay. It's not great, but yeah, we should have gotten the triple here. And yeah, we'll learn from this mistake and we'll move on to the next one. So here we are again with the same style of base. You might notice a trend. These bases are very, very common right now in High Legends. Isolated Infernos. Here, actually, this base is not the worst. It does have 2 rage compartments, but yeah, usually I opt to go for that Inferno on the right because it would get me the Revenge Tower. And I've attacked it before, so I kind of know how to attack this base. So I'm just going to fireball that, and I'm going to set up a Flame Flinger on the top left side at 11 o'clock, which is going to get me half of the other rage compartment here. I notice I don't poison the headhunters. With the furnaces and the baby dragon, you can kind of deal with the head with at least three headhunters pretty quickly. So you can invest the poison into the furnace instead. That will allow you to just set up the flame flinger a little bit quicker and do a little bit more work. So yeah, we're just gonna rage here because it's double X-bow plus ricochet cannon. We have to invest the spell, and yeah, so far looking pretty solid. I'm hoping that the warden kind of funnels himself into the Inferno Tower, and I have the ice block at the ready. I did ice block a little bit early, so I just decided to go for the invisibility just in case. And here you might notice I missed the quake. I did not really notice that the X-bow could go down with that fireball. So we're just gonna have that X-bow raged up and on my warden, and because of that I have to commit a couple of spells to the warden to keep him alive because I do want that fire spitter to go down, and we just recall him, set him to the top side. He seems very safe, and I just have to keep an eye out on him after I deploy the hero dive. I always try to deploy also like the hero dive while he's fairly safe, and as you see, I'm kind of just checking back at him, zooming out, checking in. You know, is he okay? Yeah, he seems okay. Like, he's not stepping into too much damage just yet. But as you notice right now at 1 o'clock, I mean, he just steps into a ridiculous amount of damage. He steps into a giant bomb, I guess, plus scatter shot, plus skellies, plus multi-arch tower, and he just goes down in like a split second. And I was not ready for that because I was deploying the minion prince, and yeah, we lose the warden, so that's not good. But in High Legends, every single trophy matters, so you have to kind of stay composed and try to rack up as much percentage as possible. Obviously, the 3-star is probably off the board at this point, but the goal is always to try to at least get to 90%, which will get you 29 trophies. 92 gives you the round plus 30, which I always try to go for if I do have something go wrong in my attack. So here we're just trying to stay composed. We're kind of waiting on cleanup troops. Usually cleanup troops do matter, like how you place them, and you can rack up quite a few percent points if you're just patient and you place them correctly. And yeah, the giant is still alive, doing pretty good, and we're gonna rack up at least to a 90, it looks like. I don't quite remember how this worked out, but a decent attack considering how all things went. 92 plus 30 is a pretty solid score. Here we go. We have a centralized rage compartment base, which is usually quite nice to see. Now, when I saw this, I've already attacked this many times, and I have a similar approach for how I execute the attack. Basically, I try to fireball the rage tower itself. That's gonna get me the whole rage compartment taken out. And as you noticed, I kind of clicked on the CC to just check its range, because what I usually try to do here is to lure out the CC early on, so that way my hero dive does not have to deal with it. And as you see, I'm sending in goblins. So firstly, I lure out the kind of the air targeting CC units. So for example, archers in this case, or a furnace. They get lured out with Rocketloons, and then you add a few goblins, so ground troops, to lure out the ice golems. That's kind of the idea. And as soon as I got the full CC lure, as you see, there's also decent flame flinger value at the right side. So I'm going to take that every day of the week. And we're just going to let things play out here. We're just going to let the warden do his thing, hopefully clear out the scattershot compartment. And yeah, as I said, we're aiming for the fireball into the rage tower. Here we have to rage because there's going to be double X-bow plus multi-arch tower plus scattershot. So rage is very, very necessary. Going to keep him alive a little bit longer. And here I do the wall breaker for the hero dive just to set things up. And yeah, unfortunately, I lure out 8 skeleton traps, which, as you'll see, kind of slow things down quite a lot. This was the one thing that went in this attack a little bit differently to what it usually goes. 1 minute 30 on the clock. I'm still kind of waiting. Maybe I should have done the fireball here, but I'm kind of waiting for that X-bow to go down because I'm scared that the fireball will go to the air defense if I do the fireball onto the rage tower from there. So I have to kind of wait around, and yeah, time is ticking, that's for sure. Here we do the 4 Invis Fireball, like I said, and start the heroes right away as soon as we can. Here I totem for that Warden, which I don't think was good, because the Flame Flinger could have gotten that, and I should have maybe recalled the Warden out. Since time is low, usually he goes to the left, actually, and takes out the Fire Spitter. But yeah, in this case, he did not, and we had to send the Minion Prince. Minion Prince ability was absolutely terrible. I mean, that was just the worst Minion Prince ability ever. And at this point, we are really struggling. Time is ticking. The Yetis, actually, the Yetis, usually I try to funnel them into this monolith, and I did not do that at all. And the monolith is going to stay up, and this is going to be a power fail. So, yeah, things kind of did not really work out. I think usually I would try to send the Minion Prince with the Queen and the King to just hero dive the Town Hall, but here we had to use him on the other side, and yeah, because of that, we are unfortunately gonna fall short yet again. So we ended up getting 270, which is really solid, I think. We got another extra triple, which was on a base that was similar to Synthe's. And yeah, that put us plus 23 cups, which is going to maintain the position at 150th, or a little bit higher up today. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next